Alright, so Donald Trump is so bad that a lifelong Republican, an important figure in the Republican Party, just came out and officially switched to the Democratic Party because of the GOP constantly embracing Trumpism and this MAGA style of politics. And this comes at a time when Donald Trump is struggling to garner support among his old allies. I mean, many of the people that used to serve with Donald Trump, from Mike Pence to Mark Meadows, are all coming out and saying this man is unfit to lead. I don't want to waste a single second of your time. Let's jump into the story. All that I ask is that you like the video below and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So John McCain's son just came out and said, quote, "I am switching to the Democratic Party and plan to support Kamala Harris for president. What Trump said about my father was reprehensible. I can never forgive him. I am putting my country first." And I think this could persuade a lot of Republicans because Jim McCain, the son of John McCain, does have a lot of sway as a normal Republican. He represents this return to normalcy that the Republican Party could embrace. Before I play this clip, because it is absolutely beautiful, I just want to run you through some of the people that no longer support Trump. No person in US politics, certainly no recent president, has such an expansive list of high-profile allies turned enemies. His Vice President Mike Pence said, quote, "The American people deserve to know that President Trump asked me to put him over my oath to the Constitution." Bill Barr, who has since endorsed Trump, said, "Someone who engaged in that kind of bullying about a process that is fundamental to our system shouldn't be anywhere near the Oval Office." His Secretary of Defense, James Mattis: "Trump is the first president in my lifetime who does not try to unite the American people. People said he's unfit for office. He's a wannabe dictator." These are the Republicans, real Republicans. And Donald Trump wants to convince you that Rudy Giuliani, Mike Lindell, Kid Rock, RFK Jr., that's the real Republican Party. I am not buying it. Let's watch this clip of Jim McCain. You'll love it.
So, I mean, this has been, as you note, Donald Trump has said a lot of things that have offended people in the veterans community. It may have started, actually, when he said that your dad wasn't a war hero because he was captured. That was back in 2015. And then there are all the other things that he has said and done, including what his former Marine General and Chief of Staff John Kelly said, that he said behind closed doors, and suckers, losers, etc. You were a political independent for years. And you just recently registered as a Democrat. Why the switch, and how much of you moving not into the Republican Party, but starting as an independent and now moving to the Democratic Party, how much of that is because of Trump and his effect on the Republican Party and his attitude towards veterans?
I mean, to begin, you know, what Trump said about my father is irreprehensible. I mean, it's, I've never forgotten it. And, you know, to remind everyone, you know, John McCain was my father as well. And, you know, he was the guy I went to when I skinned my knee, you know. So to hear those things said about him, I could never forgive. You know, the one thing about John McCain is that he cared about his country and he lived his life that way. So as we moved on, and I was gone for a year, so I didn't have a chance to change. But as soon as I was back, I see, you know, I care about my family. I care about equal rights of everyone in this country. I care about all this. And, you know, as much as I stayed as an independent, I decided that, you know, it was time to move on and do what I believe in. You know, the fact of the matter that he said it constantly is country first. You have to think about your country first. However that is, care about your country. Care about how making it better, not being divided, but being together as one to continue to be the greatest country in the world.
All right, and there is more to this clip, but I wanted to pause it here because what he just said actually touches a personal note for me. I have always thought John McCain was a great person. Even before Trump entered politics, I vaguely knew who John McCain was because of this clip right here. Let me zoom in on this. When this lady says that Obama is an Arab or a Muslim, she uses some word, and my dad, his whole side of the family, they are all Muslim. My grandpa came from Syria, so I remember seeing this clip as a young person and thinking, wow, this is actually a genuinely good person.
I got to ask you a question. I do not I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not.
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues. And
that is a great answer, and Donald Trump would have egged that lady on. He would have been like, not only is he a Muslim, but he's also a Marxist. Meanwhile, John McCain was very mature, and I think what his son was saying is very true about John McCain not wanting America to be so divided. Back to the video.
Yeah, just as a factual matter, I mean, your father, first of all, a lot of people are taken prisoner during war, and your father was offered early release because his father was an admiral during the Vietnam War. His grandfather was too, and he declined early release because that's not how prisoners are supposed to be released. They're supposed to be released in the order of how they were captured, and that is the definition of heroic. What do other veterans say to you? Because obviously, just as a matter of statistics, most white men in this country are supporting Donald Trump, just statistically, and most white men in the military are supporting Donald Trump. What do you hear from when it comes to your former colleagues in the Marines and your current colleagues in the Army?
I mean, I think that it's just like anywhere else. I mean, veterans are people just like everyone else, and that's a plethora of diverse opinions. You know, I think that people are still trying to figure out what's happening in this election and which way they're going to go, especially with Kamala Harris entering the race. And I think that just like any other group of people, everyone's trying to figure it out. It's a diverse group of people, and you know, they're all trying to look, you know, what's going to help the military. You know, that's on the main thought for most of them. So.
The Arizona Republican Party is rather extreme. And I was talking about this with Senator Kelly earlier, but the idea that, I mean, according to polls, that they're about to lose another Senate race because they keep nominating people who are election deniers and not grounded in reality. It's a very different Republican Party than the one that supported your dad and Senator John Kyle, Barry Goldwater, and on and on. Were you going to become a Democrat either way, or did Kamala Harris play a role? And what has been the impact of the Arizona Republican Party on your beliefs?
I mean, I think the Arizona Republican Party is trying to express what they believe is the best. I mean, they did censor my mother and my entire family out of it. So, you know, they're choosing the path that they want to go. But I think one of the main points of switching over and coming over has been, you know, like I said, I feel that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz embody a group of people that will help make this country better, that will take us forward. And that's really what matters at the end of the day, is, you know, voting with your heart, voting how you feel going forward. And that's how I feel.
Can I just say, the way that Jim McCain ended that segment is exactly how I have felt as of late. I don't know how any reasonable person can look at the two candidates running for president, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, and not see that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz genuinely want to better our country. They lay out a forward-looking vision with hope and real policy prescriptions regarding housing or drug addictions or inflation. Meanwhile, Donald Trump genuinely just spreads vile hatred throughout the country, and Jim McCain did a great job laying that out.